once you have your tail light screws, or once you have your license tag screws removed on this side, pull this plate off, and there's a washer that fits here around that, which is where my washer goes. There's going to be a washer that fits around here, around there. So be careful in taking it off so that you don't rip it, and then you can reuse it. There we go. Okay, this is the washer that came off. So like I said, be careful when you're removing it from off so that you don't rip it if it's not too bad. You can reuse it. Then your wires disconnect from the harness holder. Slide them right on through behind there. Come right behind this here. Remove your ground wire from here. And pull this little piece off. Get to your screw. Make sure you save it because it gets the wires and stuff fixed behind there. Remove the bulb. And remove the housing. Okay, after disconnecting the wires from your tail lights, your backup lights, you're going to remove that screw from the ground, and then just take your wire. Once it's removed, like I said, you're going to have a few little clamps to where it holds up. You got one here, and then it's got a couple that clamps on along the route that it takes. But just take that wire, feed it over your gas line there. That's going to go up into the front compartment to come out right here behind the driver's seat. Looks like it's going to go around over to behind the driver's seat. Got a connection right there. As we trace this. Right there to something that comes on the long down side here and runs up along the driver's side, and then one splits off here. So at this point we're going to disconnect that right here. Come in, disconnect that. See where this wire goes around front, because there's no a harness or anything to make a quick release from there. So we'll trace this. Okay, that's for the light there, sensor for the door. Like I said, we'll trace it on around, get the seats pulled. I'm going to go ahead and pull the seats before I trace that wire. It gives us a little room to work with. Okay, for the seat, it's going to take a 14 millimeter. You got two 2 on the rear, and there's going to be 2 on front. So when we get these removed, get the seat loose, and we'll be right back. Okay, remove that seat. Move those. Okay, you move those 4 screws, and the seat comes right out. Go ahead and remove the driver's seat. Pull it on out. Okay, so we now have the driver's seat out. We'll be figuring, don't know where this wire was cut from. Look for it in like that. Pull these must be for the electric seat. Pull these out, they come right around, connect here. This here is with the wire that's coming from the tail light. It all traces over to that side, to the passenger side, and they all connects into the computer unit. So we're going to get these pulled, get the console out. A lot of this stuff, okay, he did fasten that in, may be loose. A lot of it may be loose already because the previous owner, as you see, stripped it pretty good. Carpet, dash, a few things. So we're going to strip her on down and hopefully get it to spray condition. I want to undercoat as much as everything that's possible. I want to undercoat it, undercoat the bottom, spray undercoating on the inside. I want to just cover everything with undercoat, the whole frame and body. That's why I'm stripping her down. And I'm gonna get these wires pulled. Like I said, it's just looks like they come from here. Once I get all these popped out of place, pull to that side, see what she's looking like from there. Just want to make sure I document a pretty good little trace. Now, when these come out, this wire here come through the tube, pop them loose from seat wires. This here is going to run one in here for the door sensor. This comes around, connects there, so we'll be removing those. It runs around. It also has something to do with a connection here. That connection there. We'll slide it off. Connection there. Alright, I'm going to take these off. Take these off, disconnect that, and we'll run the wire on over there to that side. Okay, once we have the wires disconnected on that side, like I said, they come on across. You got those two. Black one with that white strap on them. These two here are your cables. One's for your trunk, the other is for your fuel lid, and they go into the console. We'll disconnect those, but we have the wires for the rear out of place. Got to disconnect that there for the gas tank. Come on over, and where they all comes in and runs into your CPU or your, what do they call them, CU, the control panel here for your car. Once they all run into that box, you have a couple that runs alongside. You have to remove the clamps for these as well. So these run alongside here, and they go up to the front floorboard. And when you get to the front, what you'll notice is This here tube is for the one that's going in under the hood. It's got a massive set of wires that all runs there and connects into the dash. But what makes it easier on what hooks up to the CPU, you have these two wires that run alongside that there. And then, like I said, with this big bundle of wires, they all connect, but you can disconnect them at the CPU as well. But to make this one here easy, this strip that goes in to the control unit for the car, just disconnect them here. So we're going to get this out of place, disconnect those wires, pull this out, and we'll see what we need to disconnect from there. Okay, the wires to remove your computer, it's located behind the passenger seat, and you'll need a 10 mil to move it. So we got like 3 screws, 2 on this side, and then there's 1 on that side. Okay, so it was those 3 that removed it. And what I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to take, instead of worrying about this big wire, this thick one, I'm going to remove the connections that brings it back here, but it doesn't have a spot right now with a joining connection to remove. So I'm going to remove this, then work around the wires. So it's got a little piece that holds that piece right there. See, right there, that piece is holding this on. So I'm gonna have to get that removed. I'm gonna take that out of place. So that is the hole for a drain plug. That's the line, and it is going down. It comes out. Where did I see it? Right there. Comes out right there. And now that I'm under here, I'm also noticing it bottom out pretty hard and scraped along that whole rail there. So my question now is, even though this is limited and all this and that, whoever had it ain't take too good care of it, so it's slowly falling out of that mint condition zone. And might be looking at just replacing the front end. We pull the front end and see what it takes to get this front nose off. But I'm still at limbo right now because I can still come across that. I'm not even worried about coming across another model. I'm going to take these two and make it work. Pull the rest of the wires and get this cleaned up. Okay, so under the dash you have that main electric harness coming in. Okay, for that main harness that comes in under here, we have where the connections are. So the main line is, I can't quite see it yet, but to get these lines out of place, we'll pull these here tabs. we'll take and remove. It's got 3 that's holding this line in, so we'll get those removed. And then we'll come back and see what else we have to remove. But to get this line that runs under the tube here, to get it out of place, just remove it from the box and then remove it from those 3 lines under the dash. Get this one out of place. Real quick, I want to document this. So the removal of it is, you got a screw here that comes out. You got this one here on top, right there, comes out. Then you're going to have these 2 little cosmetic holders, keep them in place on that side. Then you're going to have one back here, up under there. On this side, there's one. So once you get this one unscrewed, you unscrew this one. This will come off. Then you got to remove these 2 up front. Just right here, remove these 2. And you got the one that's going to be back up in there to remove. That will make it so you can remove this piece. And this piece comes right on up as such. And we'll put all these together, and that's how you remove that section. Okay, to remove your fuel tank line, you're going to have 4 screws, which you see I removed from where the cap is. And you're going to come down in here. You're going to have, these are the 3 lines that's coming in. You got this line. Yeah, well, actually 2. That one's connected to this one. So it's going to be this black line and this metal line. And that's going to take a 10 millimeter, unloosen that. Some pliers. To unloosen this one. This one here is just held on by crimp pliers connection, as well as with this one. Okay. Now that those lines are out of place, this is 10 millimeter. Okay, that drain line just goes right there to drain out extra gas when it overflows. So basically, just pop those 4 off, loosen this. Okay, you'll just use a set of pliers if you need to grip that to break it loose, and twist and turn. Split a screwdriver just along the inside rim to break it loose. Okay, removing the center console. Like I said, a lot of this was already taken apart before we actually got on it, as far as the engine and the drivetrain. Well, the carpet, he removed the carpet, the seats, a whole lot of interior. But as far as the center console, so far, I had 4 lines connected, 5 with this one, but it appears to have been cut. So this one, okay, this one here, you know, that mine, the single one, apparently I must say, yep, wasn't cut, it was just unplugged. It came from here, and this one here, I'm not sure where it may have came from just yet. This one, I'm not sure where it came from, but this one here was unplugged from here. So you got 4 that's coming in to the console, and then you got these 2 that are still connected. So we'll unloosen these 2, and there is also one here that has been pressed, snapped or cut, but it goes to a little light right there, which I think that may have been added for something. But to remove the console, that slid right over these, and then just disconnect these 2 lines, and we'll have the console out of place. Center console. Okay, like I was saying, my console was already loose, but I'm thinking it's just 2, 3, 4, 7 screws to get the whole console out. It's that one that was holding it from the top. I had 2 on the side here, 1 there, and 1 there. And then on this side, on the driver's side, there's 2 more that are on the side. It's there, the top one, and the bottom one. Then you have the 2 that are holding the steering column in place. I just had to remove those 2 holding the steering column in place, and it dropped right on down because the other 4 were already loose. And what I want to do now, is take and remove this cluster of wires. And I'm curious to see, you see how that stuff is coming in from that vent? I have to find out where that's pulling it in from. That's not good. So, Miata owners, be aware of that. Wherever it's pulling outside stuff in from. But I'm gonna go ahead and remove those grounding wires. Then I got this one harness, or this one connection right there, that I got to undo, and that will free up these lines. So we're gonna get that out of place. Okay, that's where your lines go in to feed your power windows and doors and stuff. It goes down through there. It comes out there. Okay, for the handbrake, there was 3 screws holding the handbrake in place, and it's going to be 1 there, 1 there, and then 1 on the back. one there, those two, and then one on the back side right here. Once you take those 3 screws out, the handbrake will come off. You got to unloosen this screw here to get the cable off. That slides in place, and we'll just put that on back on for safekeeping. I'm not sure if they cut the brake. I'm not sure if they cut the brake like a whole lot of other things that's been removed, but that's your handbrake. Now to get this removed, and it happens to be 10 millimeters, so I know there's one on this side, one on the top, and I'm gonna have to search around to find the other ones too. And there's one right here as well on the front, so that's 3 so far. We'll get those removed, and let's see if there's any more to remove after that. Okay, so it was those 3. That one, and then that one up front to remove this here section. As you see, those fit right on through the hose there. I guess I'm seeing now left and right side, so it was on, yes, and right side and passenger side drive car, then just swept it over. But anyway, move that to get that out of, remove those 3 screws to get that out of place. And we're pretty much at the point where it's just doing these 3 wires and the steering column. Alright, I recall that B577 as a fuel relay, and that's where it's going to be. This here is without the dash in, so it's going to be right on up there. It's going to be right there alongside where it's going to be right there on that side of your steering column. You need to get to it. And it's probably going to be something to get into because there's a screw back there that's holding it on that you're going to need to get to from the front side. Okay, with all the dash removed, those are the wires that are running behind the dash. Remember, this one here was grounded on the top screw. This is the one with 2 grounds to it, and there's this one here that is coming in, was grounded on the bottom screw. Grounded on that one, the one that's by itself. This one was on the bottom, this one was on the top. And I have that taken apart. From that side, I have a few more lines to get to. Yeah, look at all that mess that was being sucked in through the vent. I'm gonna see if we can't find where that was coming in from. But Miata owners, beware. This is stuff that's being sucked in through your air vent. But that main line that runs under to the engine compartment comes behind the dash, runs along through here, runs few things hooked up to here. We're going to be pulling all this loose to see if we can't get it out of place next. That's the main line that's coming in from the engine compartment. Okay, just to document the lines as they come off in this main line. Every car had the two that's holding these on. That one's there, that one's there. And now this whole line that comes across has connections. This connection person ran into was these two, which were plugged in here and here, coming off your main line. We have this here. Well, this is actually first, this piece that we pulled from out of place. It was in there like that. So it came off in there. This piece comes off there. This connects there. This one is here. This one is here. This is off that main line from the engine compartment. You have your two connections that came off from there and there. And it comes on around. Cut it from the column here. As it comes on around, this here one comes up to the dash. You have two coming on around to that side. You have two. This one is going to the steering column. Then you got this cluster, a large cluster. You got this small cluster with two lines. They hook up to there and to here for your, this is the key. This here is probably whatever, your horn, airbag, whatever else this may work. Signals, whatever. This here set of three, they're also going to the dash, excuse me, this here set of three connectors, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, are running up into the steering column as well, off this main line. Then you got this cluster that's not connected. I'm believing it may have went to your speedometer and all of those gauges behind the cluster there, coming off the main line. Again, this here one is looped on itself. This one here off the main line runs to the fuel filter relay, fuel relay. That's all in itself. Flashers. This line, I'm not sure where it's run. It was already disconnected. Got some lines running in here to this group of wires. What I'm going to do, instead of unloosening, just disconnect it here, I'm going to disconnect it from this screw, pull the whole unit out, and I'm going to do the same with that.